At my birthday dinner, Grandpa gave everyone a box. Mom whispered, "It's empty like always." But when I opened mine, there was a key. Grandpa smiled and said, "Only the honest one deserves it." Then he looked right at me and whispered, "Now go find what it opens before they do." It was my 25th birthday. The house was filled with laughter, fake smiles, and the kind of warmth that only lasts as long as someone's pretending to like you. My family wasn't close, not really. We just played the part when Grandpa was around. He was the glue that somehow held us together. Or maybe the lock that kept all our secrets inside. Grandpa had been acting strange for months, spending hours in the attic, sorting through old photos and writing in that worn-out leather notebook he never let anyone touch. We all assumed age was catching up to him. But that night, during my birthday dinner, it felt like something else was happening. The dining table glowed under the chandelier. The smell of roasted turkey mixed with cinnamon candles. Everyone was talking, pretending to care. And then, Grandpa stood up. He was frail, but his eyes had this piercing light, the kind of look that makes you quiet without knowing why. He cleared his throat and said, "Before we eat, I have something for each of you." My mom rolled her eyes, whispering to my dad, "Here we go again." He chuckled under his breath. Probably another one of his silly lessons. Grandpa slowly handed each of us a small wooden box, old, carved, and heavy enough to feel important. My cousin opened hers first. Empty. Then my uncle's empty too. Everyone laughed awkwardly, like they had expected it. "See," Mom said, shaking her head. "It's just his little show." When I opened mine, there it was, a single old brass key resting on red velvet. The laughter stopped. Grandpa smiled faintly and said, "Only the honest one deserves it." Everyone went silent. My dad frowned. "What's that supposed to mean, Dad?" Grandpa didn't answer. He just looked at me, his expression calm but serious. Later, as everyone pretended to enjoy dessert, he leaned closer and whispered so quietly that I almost missed it. "Now go find what it opens. Before they do." That night, I couldn't sleep. The key sat on my nightstand, glinting in the moonlight. What did he mean? What could it possibly open? I went downstairs, hoping to ask him, but his room was dark, empty. The bed was neatly made. He was gone. The next morning, everything changed. My mom was on the phone with someone from the bank. Her voice trembled. "What do you mean his account was emptied?" she said. Then her face went pale. "No, that can't be right. He couldn't have transferred everything." Turns out, Grandpa's savings, everything he had, vanished overnight. By noon, police cars were parked outside. They said he hadn't been seen since dinner. It was like he'd disappeared into thin air. Everyone panicked. Everyone except me. Because deep down, I knew the answer had something to do with that key. Later that day, I went up to the attic, the one he'd kept locked for years. My hands were shaking, but when I slid the key into the old padlock, it turned smoothly. The door creaked open. Inside, the air was thick with dust and secrets. Boxes stacked everywhere. A smell of old wood and oil. And in the corner, that leather notebook. I opened it. Inside were lists of names, bank accounts, and dates that stretched back decades. But what caught my attention were the last words written in shaky handwriting. "They took everything from me once. This time, I take it back." I didn't understand what it meant, but I felt something shift, like I'd opened a door that couldn't be closed again. That's when I heard footsteps downstairs. Loud, fast. My mom's voice furious. "Where is she?" She took it. I hid the notebook under my jacket and slipped out through the back door. I didn't stop running until I reached the woods behind our house. The same woods Grandpa used to take me to when I was little. At the edge of the forest, I found an old shed. Broken, forgotten. The lock was rusted, but the key, it fit perfectly. Inside was nothing but dust, tools, and one metal box bolted to the floor. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a small stack of papers, old photographs, and a USB drive taped underneath. The papers were property deeds, land, shares, and documents worth millions, all under my name. Dated a week ago. I couldn't breathe. Grandpa had left everything to me. But before I could think, I heard a car pull up. Headlights flashed through the cracks of the shed. My mom's voice again, colder this time. "She's here. I told you she'd find it." I panicked, grabbed the box, and ran through the back door. The forest was dark, and I could hear their footsteps behind me. My heart raced. I didn't know where I was going, I just knew I had to keep moving. And then, out of nowhere, a hand grabbed my arm. I almost screamed until I saw his face. It was Grandpa, alive, standing there in the shadows, with that same calm look. "Good," he said quietly. "You found it. Grandpa, everyone thinks you're gone." He smiled. That was the point. He looked at the metal box in my hands and said, "That's not the end. It's the beginning. There's one more thing you need to do." I started to ask what he meant, but he raised a finger to his lips. "They're coming. Listen carefully. The truth about our family goes back farther than you think. That key wasn't for a lock. It was for your choice." Before I could ask anything else, he stepped back into the darkness and disappeared between the trees. The headlights drew closer. My mother's voice echoed again, filled with rage. "Give it to me now." To be continued.